Well, good evening, everyone, and happy week two. It's Professor Wood. You should know me by now. Um, that's my cat Stella. I think you can see one leg, just one leg. Oh, and a tail flip. You're lucky. I hope that you had a good first week of class and that you weren't too overwhelmed. It was funny. I was looking back at some of my older videos, and I've been a professor for a long time and I've been a teacher for longer. Um, but I was looking back at some of my videos from year to year, and every single one of my videos in week two always starts with, I know you're overwhelmed. Okay, so uh, I was thinking about that today. It's easy to become overwhelmed, and throwing this back into the mix on top of everything else, especially during a continuing pandemic and a change in education. And I think, therefore, this week is going to be very interesting to you. Because when you're looking at the history of curriculum, remember that history of curriculum, going back to the foundations, looking back, but also looking back in your own classroom, that the history of curriculum guides future plans. It guides your future plans. It guides the districts or the counties or the states or the country's future plans. And so we can look back at the past and see what didn't work, what did work, why these traditions are continuing. We can eliminate things that haven't worked in the past, or we can develop a better way to present things that might work but need a little bit of tweaking. Um, so it's important to study these things and basically look at what were our past successes and what were our our past failures. I think that, one of the things that's interesting right now, it's also a little bit scary, but education is completely in transition. And so when the pandemic happened, of course, everything that we did in the past, changed overnight. And then now that we're all beginning to go back to our schools, there are a lot of people that are still trying to go back to the old ways of presenting curriculum and the old ways of teaching, that structure. And things have moved on. And we are being forced to change and forced to look at those things and say, was this really working? And what can we do to fix that? So in week two, I think it's always an interesting read because you're looking at historical foundations of curriculum and you're looking at psychological foundations of curriculum, and you're finding out about the mindset of particular educators and policymakers at a time and why they were choosing to do these things. And as somebody who grew up in the 70s, it's really interesting to, and in a family of educators, it's been real interesting to see, the cyclical, the cyclical, the wheel of education, how certain things, come back around again and come back around again. And we see that where, there will be years where they're really focused on math, science, English, and history. And then there will be years where they're really focused on bringing back the arts and extracurriculars. And then all of a sudden it'll be back to like hard focus on, core curriculum. And we see it again now with the big push for CTE and career technical education, where like at the high school level, and I know a lot of you teach the littles, but at the high school level, we're looking at A through G requirements, and we want students to meet those A through G requirements so that they have the opportunity to open the door to college if they want to. We want them to have that opportunity. But there's also a broader, bigger push for career technical education and career technical education classes, because we know now not every child is going to want to go to college. That college may not be the be all end all of education, anymore. It could be a career or a trade. And I have lots of students that are very, very, very successful in career and trade and have chosen not to go the college route. So we still want to push, A through G and making sure that they're on task, so they can open that door. But we also want to be more individual in our education and see that there's this broader, there's this broader world of opportunity going on. And with technology, I think I might have said it in the first video that I sent out to you. We are currently, all of us, littles to bigs, we are currently training children for jobs that are not even invented yet, not even created yet. We have no idea what things are going to look like 3 years to 5 years from now. So it's really interesting to look at history and see what shaped curriculum, and how we moved forward and what we kept and what we left behind, and what we're still using and renaming interesting names. So I want you to have a good read this week on that, and I want you to really think about that. And I want you to think about your own, when you grew up, what type of curriculum were you being taught? What was the structure? What was the historical foundation of that time period? What do you believe was the psychological foundation of that time period? And you're going to see it through the years as well. Okay. Remember that you're reading Ornstein and Hunkins chapters 3 and 4. And don't forget to answer your discussion board. And then your assignment number 2, which is going to be due Sunday on or before 11:59 p.m., is your historical psychological foundations of curriculum graphic organizer. Okay, and remember, looking ahead, you should continue working with your group members for your collaborative group presentation, which will be due the end of week 3. Uh, if you need me, just shoot me an email. I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. I think my record this time so far is Brittany. I think last night you wrote me and I got back to you 11 minutes later. I was pretty proud of myself about that. So please contact me if you need me. Know that I'm here for you. And I think that's about it. Okay. Have a wonderful work week. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.